from Me Crafty Scrapper. Last night I finished this junk journal, or you can just call it a traveler's notebook. It is more on the junk journal side of traveler's notebooks, but it is made from the Stamp It Up crumb cake cardstock, but you can just use craft cardstock. Any craft cardstock will do. You could also do white. I just wanted a little more distressed or earthy look to mine, so I used crumb cake. This junk journal is 8 1/4 by 5, so that would make this a standard extra wide, I think. I know it's a Cahier, and I know I'm probably not saying that right, size, but I know that as far as the height that fits into a standard, and I think a normal standard traveler's notebook insert is 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. Anyway, I'm sorry if I have those measurements wrong. I will try to look those up and get them in the description below for you. Anyway, I cut 8 1/4 by, let's see, it was 10 1/4. That's how I cut it first off to make my pages and my cover. And then I folded all of them in half. I used my, let me get it here. I used my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper on the 1/4 measurement to trim my corners. And what I did was I just trimmed my cover corners first, and I left the inside pages straight, because what you're going to do is when you put this together and you put all of your inside pages around that cover inside, you are going to have some overlap coming out here, because this is secured by staples on the spine. And when you put those staples in and you close it up, you're going to have some overhang. So what you're going to do is use your paper trimmer, and you're going to open up those covers and you're going to trim the insides down. Now, there might be someone out there that has a lot better way of trimming down a traveler's notebook than that, but that is what I have found that works for me the best. So then I trim down those inside pages. One piece of cardstock here, another piece of cardstock, then another, and then another. Okay? Now, when I put my spine together, like I said, I just secured it with staples, and I opened up my staple gun. I put, this is from Stamp It Up. It is the Stamping Pierce Mat, and I just took that foam piece out, and you can see where I stapled into it. I have a gnat flying around, sorry about that. And I put in my staple this way, pushed it down, and then it went into the foam mat underneath. And so when you flip it, the teeth were jutting out here, and I just closed it down, not with these scissors, with an old pair of scissors, closed down the points here. And I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 4 staples. So 2 here, pretty much at the edge, and then 2 in the middle part. Okay, so that's how I did the spine. Now, when you are covering a traveler's notebook that you're making, if you're covering the spine like I did with this pattern paper, you need to put it on while the traveler's notebook is folded in half. And I actually used, before I decorated all of it, a binder clip, clipped it on, held it together before I started putting on the pattern paper on the spine. And what you're going to have to do is not put it on super tight on there, because you want this gap here when you're putting that spine piece on, because if you don't get that gap here, if you put it on super tight, flat, like, let me get to the middle. If you put it on super tight, real flat right here, then when you go to close it, you're going to really stress out that paper, and pretty soon it will start cracking, and then it's going to come apart, and that's going to be no good for you. So when you put it on, you don't put adhesive here in the crease. You just put adhesive on this part and not the part that's going to be touching the middle of that spine where those staples are. And then you pull it up just a little bit, give yourself a little bit of a tent here, and then adhere it while it's folded. And make sure you don't adhere anything here where these staples go. And then you adhere on the back. Okay, so that's how I put it together. I wanted to address that because I know I was going to get some questions about that, and I wanted to let you know how I put that together. Now let's do a little flip through of my pages, and really all I have to do now is journaling and adding pictures if I want to put pictures in this. And, you know, this could be just a mini album. You wouldn't even have to use it as a traveler's notebook or put it in a traveler's notebook cover. You could just use it as a memory album, a brag book, anything like that. Just a junk journal in general, and put in, you know, commonplace stuff, magazine clippings, you know, quotes, things like that. Just use it solely as a junk journal. Whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to use it as like a mini scrapbook, but it'll still fit into my standard size traveler's notebook cover. All right, so this is a piece of Stamp It Up cardstock that I had in my scrap stash. All the pattern papers that are in this notebook are from Stuck on You by Photoplay. This collection, it has succulents in it, cactus, plants, kind of gardening theme, mason jars, birds, polka dots, which I love, and then even some black and white stripe that goes with this here. These two really went really well together, but they didn't go with my theme, so I didn't really use any black and white in this traveler's notebook. So that's the pattern papers that are used in this notebook, and I got this from scrapbookingwithme.com, and I will leave that link below. And this was a piece out of the sticker sheet that comes in the 12 by 12 collection pack. I used my Big Shot to punch out these circles, and this is just another piece from my scrap pile, same color as this. This is from Stuck on You collection. So are these little strips. I just cut those. And then this washi tape is from the Planner Society. I did a little bit of doodling around the edges here and around that circle with a micron pen. And then here is page 1 and 2. So this is your inside cover and the first page of that next piece of crumb cake. And I just used a stamp from my stash. I think all of the stamps that I used in here are from some older Gossamer Blue stamp sets, and unfortunately Gossamer Blue is out of business. They do not make kits anymore, and I was very heartbroken when that happened about a year and a half ago. Anyway, so like I said, all the pattern paper that you're going to see is coming from that Photo Play collection, Stuck on You. And here I didn't adhere the top, I made it pocket-like. So if I want to do some journaling here and add a photo, I can in that pocket. I doodled around that. That washi is from the Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. And I doodled around this and made it a tip in and put some washi here. And this is just washi from my stash. I really do not know where that washi come from. It was just in my stash. The only thing new that is in this, and I'm thinking I don't really have anything new in this except that Photo Play Stuck on You collection that I got from scrapbookingwithme.com. All the rest of it is from my stash. Okay, so I made a tip in here, and so that pattern paper will go with that right here, right now. Both of those are Gossamer Blue, older Gossamer Blue stamp sets. I actually cut that tab because I have a tab punch by We Are Memory Keepers. I just didn't get it out. I cut my own tab because I wanted this kind of, you know, homemade looking. So I cut that out and put some of that washi just to match over here. So there's that tip in. And then next pages, I just done another, you know, I mirrored that one that's on the other side, put some more washi there. I added Tell My Story. That is a roller stamp that I got actually from Tuesday Morning. It was like $2. And it's got all kinds of little sayings on it. And so that's one of the sayings off of that roller stamp. I punched with my circle punch here, just some from the pattern paper. It actually goes with that pattern paper that's there. That is a label, I think, from an old Gossamer Blue kit. So that was just from my stash. There is that Planner Society washi again. And here I used some of the pattern paper and I just tore it on the edge and adhered it and made, you know, just a little decorative edge there for that page. So all of these pages are just ready for my journaling and pictures. So I've got all of my foundation pages done. Here, this actually is a stamp set from Kelly Perky. She uses it a lot in her Project Life stuff. And there's that stamp set, and it has the dies with it. I have the Big Shot, like you saw. I cut the circles out on the cover, but I hardly ever use these just because it's easier for me just to stamp this, cut it out, and be done with it. Fussy cut it, and I don't even have to get that out. But they do work in my Big Shot if I need them. This is two stamps from a Gossamer Blue stamp set that I just put together. They don't go together as far as they're not one stamp on the stamp set, but I just took this coffee cup and then Today Is the Date, and I put it on my acrylic block and then just kind of curved Today Is the Day, and I got that. That was the result of that. And this is another Gossamer Blue stamp set, different from that one that I just showed. And I just stamped the little details 3 times there, and put some of that Paper Studio washi. This is also a Planner Society washi here, the gold marble look. Here I just did some of that pattern paper and I left it open at the top, so if I need to add anything there I can. I just left it open just in case. I doubt I will put anything there, but I just left it open there. And I did the decorative, let me get that one, the decorative side of this corner chomper from We Are Memory Keepers, and did that on the edges there, just so it kind of looked like a tab at the top. I also did that on this tip in here. Use that decorative corner chomper. Okay, and then next pages I did use that same roller stamp and did Be Happy, just did it over and over and over, and I would stamp it and then off stamp, stamp and off stamp down through there. I cut out some pieces from the pattern papers. This is an old, it's either Gossamer Blue or Felicity Jane die cut. Same with this, and this is just from the pattern paper. This is my middle page, so I covered up those, the back side of those staples with some more of that Planner Society washi. And that is also from the pattern paper in the collection. Just fussy cut that out and put some of that green cardstock from Stampin' Up! Behind it. Then these pages, I just did 2 different size circles from the pattern paper and doodled around them. I put another of those decorative edges just from the pattern paper, tore it and then adhered it in, put some washi. I used that roller stamp again with one of the other sayings and did that there. These are just labels I had in my stash, and I went a little crazy with the roller stamp and did there and off stamped it a bunch and there, and then that's my handwriting and I messed up on the W. Then put some washi there, and that page, I called that done. And then the next one has another tip in it where I used that decorative edge there. Tipped it in with the washi, and I didn't say on that first tip in, just to secure that washi so that it doesn't come up in the future, I did use some of the art glitter glue and just pulled that washi up on the corner there and went down the side of that cardstock like this, and then put that washi down and just, you know, went over it a few times just to make sure that it stays. That way I don't have to worry about my tip ends coming out later. And so there's that cute bird pattern paper from the collection. And that's another one of the Gossamer Blue, older Gossamer Blue stamps there. That's the back side of that tab. Some more of that washi. The washi there to hold that tip in. Here I just added some of that pattern paper just to go with the next page that has that same pattern paper there, and used that roller stamp again. It has some really cute sayings in it. I'm glad I found that at Tuesday morning. I made my own tab here and just rounded the edges excuse me, with my corner chomper again, and added a older label from my stash and called those 2 pages done. And then the last 2 pages, another label. I made another tab myself here, some more washi, and this is just the back side of one of those pattern papers that I've been using all through, with some more of the cactus washi from Hobby Lobby. And then that same coffee cup stamp here with a tab at the top, some washi from Hobby Lobby, and that same washi from the Planner Society, and a decorative edge, torn edge here. And those pages were done, and then the back side kind of mirrors the front side here with that washi again. And then of course on all of them I doodled around on them and called it done. So that is my handmade junk journal that I'm going to be using as a little mini album, and put, you know, try to get some pictures from one event maybe and put all in this and journal about it and have it as a little keepsake on maybe the coffee table or something like that. So thanks everybody so much for stopping by. If you want more details, if you need more dimensions, things like that, give me a holler down below and I will try my best to answer any questions you have. If you would like to see a process of this, I don't have a process of this one because I just sat down yesterday and just done it. But I can make another. I can make a smaller one or something that might not take as long. This one took uninterrupted about 3 hours, I would say, but I was interrupted, so it took me a little bit longer, but I would say uninterrupted it would take about 3 hours. But I can make a smaller one and do a little process and kind of speed up through it if anybody would like a process video on how I made my Traveler's Notebook Junk Journal mini album. All right, thanks so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys later. Have a blessed day.